Hello, hello. Thanks for tuning in to this new series of the BBXX podcast. We wanted to bring you more content, specifically more BBXX original content, and we're using this as a chance to experiment with different topics, different formats, short format, longer format, casual interviews, more formal interviews, and a bit more fun stuff. So this new series will bring you mainly content from what I am referring to as the Food for Thought series, which explores different terms and terminology or questions that might be particularly relevant to now. It might elaborate on something specific from one of our main interviews, or it might just dive deeper into a question that people have been asking me or that I've been wondering about myself. But we'll also include things from fun ratings and reviews for books, movies, other podcasts, etc., to live interviews and informal interviews with more people, perhaps such as yourself, talking more about personal narrative and personal experiences that have shaped ourselves, our lives, and our relationships. Because as much as there is to be learned from us, from BBXX or any expert, we have just as much that can be learned from all of you and from each other. The way I think of my job is helping people challenge their own perspectives, challenging what we know or what we think we know, challenging the status quo, the way we have been thinking about things, and perhaps eventually even creating a shift in that perspective, standing somewhere new, changing the way that we're looking at something, the angle, the zoom, how close or far we are, the distortion, the lens through which we are looking at it, perhaps recalibrating the lens, cleaning off some of the dirt to create a clearer picture. My job is inviting people to try on new perspectives. And so a lot of what I do is I share things that have helped me look at things from a new perspective. And something that was really helpful for me as a recovering perfectionist, as somebody who holds extremely high standards for myself, a perspective shift that was really powerful for me is the idea that everybody's 100% looks different. Every day, for everything, your 100% is not the same as somebody else's 100%. So do not expect it. Whether it's for better or for worse, they are not comparable. For example, if I am somebody who can, on the spot, come up with a well-construed, calculated, emotionally evocative perspective to share with you, a different way of thinking about things, a reflection and insight that I have pulled from what you have said, a way of speaking and sharing what comes to mind in a way that resonates with you and adds value with ease and without thinking about it. That does not mean it is the same for everyone. And perhaps even on a day where I might interview somebody and feel like I am struggling through it and not adding value and my brain is foggy, somebody might be able to listen to that and say, wow, this is an incredible interview. Maybe this is one of the best interviews I've ever heard. For me, I'm able to communicate complex ideas and break them down and mix up the pieces and piece them back together in a way that takes all of that information, reflects it back to somebody, and shows them that the same pieces that create a totally new picture that makes them feel seen and heard at the same time as being able to gently nudge them and challenge them. I constantly think of new questions in every moment. My life has been trying to control the number of questions that I have. And these questions often tend to be very deep, reflective, existential, big questions that come to me easily and frequently. In fact, for a long time in my life, I thought I was too curious, had too many questions. I thought it was a weakness. I thought it was something I should try and control. And it turns out that having a basically infinite well of questions, of tools through which to explore people's emotions and consciousness and perspectives and views on life is a superpower. And that is not something that comes easily to everybody. That is a constant journey where I have to remind myself that my 100% might look different. Think of an Olympic weightlifter. An Olympic heavyweight lifter on their worst day, after years of being retired and not having trained, they could have gained 100 pounds. They could have not touched a weight for years, and they're going to be able to lift more than you, infinitely more than you, countless times more than you. Maybe you train a lot. Maybe you are incredibly strong. Maybe you can lift more than any person you know. And it's still not going to compare to an Olympic weightlifter on their best day. Everybody's 100% is different. For someone going out to a party and meeting tons of new people and being social every day of the week and spending time engaging in more surface level conversations with people they've just met might be easy. It might be fun. It might be extremely fulfilling. And for somebody else, doing that for one night might be exhausting. Vice versa. Somebody might be able to sit at home and relax and take a bath and engage in introspection and reflection with ease. And for somebody else, they might not know what to do with themselves if they try and sit still and not be busy for 1 minute. Everybody's 100% is different. For someone, on the surface, something might look easy. And in fact, it might even feel easy. One of my clients is a chef. She can cook a 10-course meal without even thinking about it. Have everything timed perfectly, prepared perfectly, warmed perfectly, served at the same time by herself. And it will look easy. And it will feel easy. I'd love to know how many of you can do that same thing. Maybe several of you can. Is it easy? Does it look easy? Does it feel easy? I highly doubt it. Everybody's 100% looks different and feels different, which doesn't mean we should discount the effort we're putting in. We should acknowledge the skill we have and the strength we have developed if something doesn't feel hard that may be hard for a lot of people. And we should also be able to acknowledge that somebody can be giving their 100%, even if it looks different than the way we show up at 70 or 50%. And we should acknowledge that even if we're struggling to keep up with somebody else who might not even be trying as hard, that it does not discount the effort that we are putting in, and that we will still know we are giving our best. We are giving our 100%, and not deprive ourselves of the appreciation, of the recognition, of acknowledging the effort that we are putting in or the skill that we have. Everybody's 100% looks different. And here's the real crazy part. Your 100% looks different on any given day. Your 100% is not the same every day. It looks different every day. It feels different every day. And what I mean by this is something might feel easy one day and it might feel difficult the next day. Maybe you are in a workout class and one day the same thing you're doing feels easy and effortless and you're doing great. And another day you're struggling, you're tired, you're dragging your feet, you feel pathetic, you are criticizing yourself, or you're tired one day and your mind isn't working as well. You feel groggy, you're dragging your feet, you're not processing things as quickly. That doesn't mean you're not functioning. We love to say, oh, I'm operating at 50%, or oh, today, I'm only 60% as good, or able to give 60% as much effort. You're giving your 100% on that day. Your 100% just looks different. It feels different day to day. Do not discount and make it seem like you are getting off easy, you aren't giving effort. Do not discount the effort and the work that you have put in. Many times, things might feel harder. We might be tired because we have pushed ourselves harder. And it doesn't serve you to think you are half-assing it in those other moments. What serves you is recognizing that your 100% looks different and knowing that as a result of that 100% being scaled back and forcing us to go slower, to get more rest, to take more breaks, is part of what is going to allow us to take another step forward and push ourselves more. But it is part of the process. The fact that our 100% looks different day to day is an essential part of our growth and the cycle of growth and re-energizing and learning and rest. So on those days when you find yourself engaging in critical self-talk and not being good enough and not being fast enough or strong enough or social enough or outgoing enough or witty enough, just know that everybody's 100% looks different. Just know that your 100% looks different every day, and that you have some other skill, some other superpower that is easy for you. That not only should you give yourself a break because it's part of the process, but also recognize not to compare yourself. Maybe your 100% looks totally different from somebody else's for that one thing. But how many other superpowers and skills and things are you able to do with ease that are probably much more difficult for other people? This perspective shift is a constant reminder that we cannot compare ourselves in a way that does not serve us. And recognizing that what we see is not necessarily how things actually are can be so powerful in helping us appreciate other people's skills, appreciate our own talents, appreciate rest, appreciate cycles, and recognize not only that we're doing as best as we can, but we're doing a really amazing job. You are doing an amazing job. Give yourself the credit that you deserve. Acknowledge the amazingness that you are, the skills you have, and the cycles that you're living. So thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of Food for Thought. If you don't already, be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you can be notified when we come out with new episodes, and to just take one moment of your time to show your support by subscribing, scrolling down to the bottom of the podcast where you can leave a rating and write a review, and perhaps even to share this with one or a few friends who you think could benefit from it. Because who can't benefit from better understanding themselves so that they can connect deeper with other people as a result?